So, good morning, good night, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to a brand new interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector. And today I got two members from the band Bicycle In. They're an emo alternative rock band from Boston, Massachusetts. And they released, I think, like a few weeks ago, their latest album, Long in the Tooth. So I have two members here from the band. I have the bass player and I have the guitar and the singer. So we're going to talk about the album. So first of all, guys, how are you tonight?
Doing well,
Good.
doing well.
Awesome. So say your name and obviously what you do in the band.
All right. I'm Noah. I play guitar and I sing.
My name's Declan, and I play the bass.
Awesome. So yeah, we got two people from the band, and you guys formed back in 2016. So for people that haven't heard of Bicycle In, tell us a little bit of the history of the band.
Oof, that's a long history now at this point. But so Declan and I have been friends for a very long time, since before 2016. We decided to just get a band together because we were playing music already together. We were like, why don't we just make our own music and do it ourselves? So casually formed the band as nonchalantly as that, I guess. And we've just kind of been friends and playing ever since. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Declan.
Um, yeah, I mean, like Noah said, we've been playing together for, going on 10 years. We've had a handful of different lineups, different people coming in and out of the band. We're very, very happy with the lineup we have right now, which is the two of us, and then uh, Gilmar Perez playing lead guitar, Dylan Ilkowitz playing rhythm guitar, and then I don't know how to pronounce Josh's last name. Noah, do you?
Josh Giaquinto.
Yukito playing drums. Our latest lineup are definitely our favorite lineup that we've had so far. But yeah, Noah and I have been in the band, since we started. We started it together, and Dylan joined not long after that, and then Gil, and then Josh is the newest member. But very happy to have everybody along.
Awesome. So yeah, it's been 10 years already, and this is the first album in 2 years, Long in the Tooth. So tell us a little bit about you recorded this with Gary Sioni from Hot Mulligan.
Mhm.
He's worked with different bands. Tell me about working with him and the sound that he brought for this record.
Um, Gary is also like a longtime friend of ours. He reached out to us a while ago when we put out our first record and was pretty interested in like just working with us in whatever capacity. And at the time, he was just opening up his home studio that he had because he worked very closely and worked with the barbershop studio. And this was kind of his like first adventure into like his own personal setup. So we were actually the first band to do a full length record with him, which was pretty awesome. And basically from that time on, we've just been working with him, and he's like a really great asset for our creative process. He doesn't ever like overbear or try to force us into anything that doesn't kind of align with where we're going. So we've built up a lot of trust together. So everything that we kind of meld in the studio is this kind of process that we've worked on for so long now that we just kind of understand the limitations that we have as creatives, and he kind of puts his own spin on things for us and adds like little hints or tricks here and there that might bring our creativity out to the next level. So it's really cool. He kind of is like kind of like the whetstone for us. Like we're constantly like getting sharpened in a new way every time that we're there. Um, Creatively, I think he's extremely talented at being able to like extrapolate and pull out of bands that he works with and kind of bring the most out of them. We like have forced him at times to like play a riff or something on the record that we do or on a song because we just he's just a great friend of ours, and we love having his input. But most of the time he just lets us do we need to make the song happen. So if it's like creating that culture and that space where we can really spend some time, honing our skills and honing the song into what it really needs to be.
Yeah, I
So,
think like Gary's superpower as a producer and is to hear whatever song you brought into the studio and say, all right, this part is sick, but it's way too long. Cut it in half. This part we need to hear this again. Do it here, and he'll take all the parts of the songs
Yeah.
that we have and help you like break it up into a million pieces and put it back together into something.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, really good at like Noah said, pulling out the all of the best parts of everything that we put together.
so in a way, like he's become like a member of the band.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. He does a like he has this way of basically saying like I have an idea and if you don't like it just tell me to forget about it, just tell me to screw off, and like just don't worry about what I said. So he's never forcing himself into a position if it creatively doesn't work or it's something that we're still not looking for, even if it's a great suggestion. He's really cool about letting us explore that too. So he's a great guy. Can't say anything but awesome things about him.
Was there a suggestion for this album where like maybe you were first were like no, and then you were like, you know what, he was right? like did he
Oh, that's a
anything come to mind that he
There
suggested
must
something,
be.
and at first you're like no, but then you're like yeah, maybe it's a good idea. What Gary said.
no, that's a great question, Hector. I think that there was one in Declan. You're gonna have to help me, but I can specifically remember all of us sitting in a circle, just like looking at each other for a good amount of time, because a suggestion had been thrown out, and we sat there just like contemplating for a while and thinking about it. I'm trying to remember what song it was that we just like sat in sheer silence,
Yeah.
like a standoff. We just didn't know where to go with it, and we were like, fine, like let's just try it, and it ended up working out great.
Oh,
Part
was
of me
it? I want to say it was Longsword. No, it was the interlude in Longsword when you
it
said
might
you
have
were
been.
like because we were trying to describe it to our drummer at the time, and you were like, "Fuck it," and then you ran in there and just started doing it, and then you and I just like played something, and everybody was like, "Yeah, fine, do it, whatever, let's move on."
Yeah, I think we were just stuck on Longsword for a while, just sitting there going, what do we go to? Because I think we had something and it didn't really work. Oh, I know what it was. It's because the song wasn't long enough.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we're like, we need an interlude. It wasn't so short that it wouldn't have been possible or wouldn't have worked, but it just needed something else, and we hadn't really nailed down what it could be. And I think that was where we just we just sat there hoping that something would happen, and then we were like, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just figure it out.
Yeah, so that song you needed to be actually longer than what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Whenever
sense.
we bring songs into the studio, they're either like a minute and 20 seconds or 7 minutes long. We tend to not bring
You're being so hyperbolic, dude. But there are a lot of those
am I
moments.
wrong? How often is Gary like, no, this part is too long. We need to cut it down. Like,
Yeah, so the good thing that we've learned too, Hector, about a lot of this with working with Gary is that when we did our first record, this time and place with him, all of our songs were like set in stone almost. When we went down, we were like, these are the songs, and then they ended up getting completely flipped on their heads for most of them because it didn't need to work that way, or that's not the way that we worked best. And I think that over the time between like Balder, our EP, our last EP, in this record, we've learned how to work with Gary in a way that like we show up with 75% of a song, out of, like all of the songs, we show up with 75-80% that we're extremely confident in, and that last, 15%, 20% of the song that we're kind of iffy on, we let it breathe. And when we show up to the studio, that's when we actually get to like work on it with somebody else's perspective. Because you kind of feel like you're in a vacuum when you're writing these songs and you're practicing them over and over and over again to get ready for the studio to work on them. And then by the time you get there, you're like, that kind of sucked. Like we spent all this time on that and it's not that good. So maybe we should, try something else. So I think that's how we figured out how to work with Gary.
the good thing is these short songs, you don't have a problem of a prog band that is like guys, you need to cut 7 fucking minutes out of this song.
Yeah. It's already 12 minutes. We got to make it shorter.
Yes.
Right.
But even though the album is 29 minutes, there's some. It didn't feel short. It felt, I don't know, it had a good pacing. So
Thank you.
the album seems like it's pretty like emotional in nature. So I was reading the promo saying, it's about the traps of hero like worship. So if you can expand a little bit on like because I know it's not a concept record per se, but there's like a lot of things. It seems like it's a very contemplative and sad record at sometimes. But hello, it's emo. Like you need to be sad with emo music.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of, I mean, with the whole title of Long in the Tooth, whereas we we have learned a lot within the past 10 years of us being a band. We've learned a lot as people. We've grown a lot. We've just kind of educated ourselves in many different ways. And so the idea for us with all of the songs and kind of the way that it came out naturally is that what we viewed, and we kind of touched on this with Balder as like the concept album, I think that kind of walked so this record could run, is that like the ideas of our human nature is to cling to things and idolize things and wish for the best of things. And a lot of the times that's not the case because most of the things in our lives are fallible, they fail us, they're not perfect, and that's like part of nature. And I think that for a lot of people when they say, yeah, I don't care if it's not perfect, it's kind of like our best wishes for the thing that we love and care for to be perfect. And so when it proves itself to not be perfect or it proves itself to be problematic or an issue or something that we have to like get over, I think that that breakdown is kind of what this whole record is about, is that like you have family, friends, institutions that you've grown up believing in and trusting and caring about, and then they just get completely wiped off the map for you because the reveal is the truth. It's the kind of the look beyond the mask or the facade that's been kind of built up in your head. And I think that the title "Long in the Tooth" is saying that like and like with the picture of the album of the rotted tree and it's like yes this has stood for a long time but it's rotted on the inside, or it's stood for a long time and we've kind of figured out that it's not all perfect on our end. So there's a lot of different pieces that go through it, but I think that the hero worship and the idealization of the world around you when you're young and then growing up into that realization is kind of the key point to this record in many different aspects, hopefully. But that's kind of where I sit on it. But I'm sure Declan also has some comments on that too.
Yeah, I mean, not much to add there, but yeah, I mean, Noah touched on the idea that it's this like these institutions that you believe so full hardy in when you're young, whatever that is, and life is so much more complicated than you think it is when you're 17, 16, and yeah, it's just coming to terms with the fact that everything is so much grimier than you want it to be when you're young, and how that shapes your worldview and how it changes how you look at things. And yeah, and it is like like you said, it's a sad record, and it is sad. It is sad to admit that the things that you believed in so wholeheartedly are not what you thought they were and are not what they presented themselves as. And yeah, just coming to terms with that.
Yeah. Good. For me, the saddest thing about growing up was when I learned that ATMs do not give you free money. When I was a kid, I thought, oh, my mom, I need money. Go to the ATM.
There it is.
That's awesome.
Easy access.
Yeah.
Every child, because my son thinks the same thing. I'm like, oh no, I wish it was like that, like
Yeah.
ATM give me money.
Mm.
Or stuff like that. So yeah, and you touch upon the album artwork, which I'm gonna show so we can talk more about it. Like I know it's like I think it's a picture. Is it a picture that
Yep.
someone in the band took or?
Yeah, Gilmar, our guitar player, he took that photo.
Gilmar Perez. I'm guessing
Yes.
he's Spanish.
He's Guatemalan specifically.
Yeah, the Perez gave it away. So yeah, where was this picture taken?
Um,
I have no
I'm
idea.
not entirely sure. I think it was like a local state park that he was just walking through and took the photo because he does like taking a lot of film photos, or at the time he really liked taking a lot of film photos. So this I think was just kind of one in his many reels of photos that he liked to take, and we just clung to it and we said we really like this and we want to keep it. And so um the single for Longsword was taken by Declan's partner Stephanie. And then the other picture for Ordinary Hell was also taken by Gil too. So like we do a lot of things in house. We like to like work on it and make sure that those things are kind of things that we are attributing to the record too. So as soon as we saw that picture, we're like, that's sick as hell. Let's use it. It explains exactly what we're looking for. So
Yeah, like it looks fine from afar, but inside it's rotting.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, it's a good thing. Better for like for what it's covered on the record. So the record, I thought you had, I like it's 10 songs, 29 minutes in length. I think my favorite song was "Ordinary Hell," the second track on the record. I don't know why I can't remember right now the part in the chorus, but there's something in the chorus that stuck out to me. I can't remember now. Maybe you can tell me because you wrote it. Like,
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean that song specifically is this idea about the church or the quote unquote the greater church in general. Um, and how there's a lot of people in our lives in the evangelical Christian circles that we had previously been a part of when we were younger. They just have this very toxic idea that you have to give more than 100% and also expect to continue to do that every single day. Which is like on the surface, it's like a noble cause to to be there for your neighbor and things like that. However, it is never used in a way, or it's never cultivated in a way that these people, these individuals, from our experience, give so much of themselves, they dedicate so much of themselves, and there really is never any return. It's you're not doing enough, you're not helping enough, you're not supporting enough, you're not holy enough, you're not doing enough in order to be there. And I think that that concept of it's this ordinary thing now that we've gotten used to, but it's hell. It's this consistent outpouring of yourself, which again, like I said, is a noble cause to be there for your neighbor, but in this case, for the wrong reasons that are kind of outside of your control. And so the line from the chorus, blessed while feeling so empty, uh fill this cup and pour it out for me. Everybody is someone else's fix. It's like this constant loop, this
that's the
cyclical,
part.
yeah, this cyclical nature of you can only ever be something for someone else and they can't be it for you. And so you hope that the person behind you is supporting you. And it's like if that's not there, then you're consistently giving and giving until you get, wrung dry. And I think the concept, I mean, one of the lines that sticks out to me that I is wear a crown of thorns, gain a throne of dirt. It's this idea that you have to suffer, and that's when something gets gained, but then you find out it's nothing. There's nothing there. So yeah, it's a pretty bleak song, but I think it perfectly describes, especially Declan and I, our experience with the churches that we were a part of and how they just neglect the people that they're supposed to be taking care of.
Yeah. I grew up in a Catholic school, and back then I thought it was stupid. And I was young. I remember one time that they brought to school like this like supposed expert on like subliminal message. And he said that this was a long shot. I still laugh to this day. That the song smells like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. The part where he said hello, he was saying hell. Oh. And I'm like, oh my God, he's saying hello. Like,
That's awesome. Nah, I think the guy's.
Searching for any
I think
message
he's not.
anywhere. It's
I think he's
crazy.
right. I think
he's
he's
like,
right.
oh, no, it's not hello. He's saying hell. And then, oh, I'm like, come on.
That's awesome.
You're reaching. But that's like it's truly like the ridiculous nature of a lot of people forcing meaning where there is none. And I think that that's a lot of what the record is about too, you know? So I get that. It's ridiculous.
The album also starts super well with, I love the album title for this. In the end, it's just starting again. And I was analyzing that. It's like, maybe you can, but like sometimes, there's so many ends in life, like end of a relationship, a marriage, but it's just a beginning to some new stuff.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Declan, you can take some of this too, buddy. I feel like I don't want to talk too much.
Yeah, I mean, like it just comes back to like what we like the name of the record, right? Long in the Tooth. We've been doing this for 10 years, and we're old enough now that you can look back on all the things that you thought like, oh, this is the end of it all. This is the end of my life, the end of whatever you think it's going to be. And part of getting older, part of all of all of that is understanding that there is no real endings. Everything is I don't know. It's late for me. I'm losing it a little bit.
It's
But
no, for
but
sure.
yeah, no, it's yeah. I hesitate. It sounds so simple just to say, in the end it's just starting again, but it kind of fucking is. Every ending is just some other. What's that song? What's that old song? I don't know. That's it for me, folks. That's all I
Yeah,
got.
it's interesting because like where one thing stops, another starts, and I think that it is again, it's what's the word? It's very on the nose where it's like, yeah, it's starting again in it's beginning again. It's going to be this loop. It's cynical. It's this idea of like, when you end work and go home, you have to get up tomorrow morning and do it again. Like it's just it's the fact of life at this point. And I think that um with specifically that song, it really speaks to the idea that as an adult, when you grow up and you have to look at the world and face the world, it's really just that ability to keep your stamina up and go through something, go through a trial, go through some issue, go through highs and lows, and then start it all over again. Like you're on to the next thing and you're on to kind of handling the next. But there is growth. There's always growth and understanding as you get to the next thing, that as long as you understand that the world that we live in, like history repeats itself, we say that all the time. And um you kind of get to build your armor around that and say, okay, well, the next thing's coming. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. And yeah, I know what you say. But you guys are saying about being old. I know you guys aren't that old because you don't have gray hair on
Yeah,
your.
I do. I do. It comes in every so often. We're 30. So I mean, we're not very old, but older than when we started.
It's I think it's not so much that we are old as much as it is that we are at the point in our lives where we aren't like kids anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that is more what we're talking about when we're
Yeah.
saying we're getting old. It's like, well, fuck, I'm 30. I have a job, I have a mortgage, I have bills. I'm not, like it's real lifetime now, and your whole perspective on the world and on life and on what's important changes when it's real lifetime.
No, yeah, it does. So, for this record for you guys, what was like the hardest song maybe to write musically or lyrically?
Oof, that's a good question. Man. I don't know. I feel like the way that we write causes us to kind of take our time and like work things like building block style. But I think that the hardest the hardest one for me to physically like write it, I think at the time Soul Honey was really hard for me to write just by subject and by the effect that it was having on my life at the time. So it took me a while to kind of put the lyrics together. Um, and I think I don't know, I think the hardest one to like physically write as in work on it musically, I guess is the better way to say it. Uh was Bearer of the Curse. I think that one sat in the
Say,
chamber for years.
yeah, Bearer of
Yeah.
the Curse, we've been working on that song on and off for like 5 years, six
Yeah, yeah.
years. Like
So
that song has always been like on the back burner for us. Never quite like whenever it was time to like sit down and pick like what are we gonna go to the studio with for whatever reason that one never quite made the cut. And it almost did make the cut on this record also. We almost didn't put it on, but I'm super glad we did. So yeah, that one just in terms of like the sheer amount of time we worked on that song is definitely Bearer of the
Yeah.
Curse.
so
Yeah, I
you
agree.
hurt for 5 years,
Yeah, exactly.
literally. Uh,
Yeah, literally.
yeah, and the song, the night song, 2451. What's the importance of that number?
Yeah. So it's actually a reference to a Bible verse. I believe it's was it Matthew 24:51?
Yeah, Matthew 24:51.
Yeah, it's just it's talking about like heretical people, and that's kind of the point of it. Um the fear of missing out. We originally like kind of our working title was FOMO, or fear of missing out, which is like what's said a lot in the song, and we didn't want to have the title be exactly a loop of what we say a million times in the song. But that is directly a critique of the church experience that we've had. Especially the people that we know that were connected to leadership there, and just the way that it is never about the seeking a truth that you're hoping for or following the teachings of Christ as they had claimed, but it's always about missing out on the latest thing and the latest way to do things or the latest way. It's just kind of like this
Endlessly chasing
um
trends to get more people.
yeah, just like chasing trends, chasing highs, chasing things that don't fucking matter. And I think that's like um yeah, like I'm trying to think of the lyrics off the top of my head, but like in one ear and then right out of your mouth is like one of them. It's like it comes in and you think about it and you hold it for a second, then you just spew it out. Like there's no thinking about whether you should be doing this or not. It's just it's is it new? Is it big? Is it explosive? Is and like we came from a mega church that, they had 5 services a weekend, and they had the lights and the sounds and the smoke and all that stuff. And it's like it's cool and everything, but like why? Why are we doing this? What's the
Yeah, why
point?
is that? Why is that where we're spending our
Yeah.
It
labor
sounds
and
like
time?
the righteous gemstones. Like,
Yes.
Dude,
Wait,
we've talked.
Hector,
Noah and I
you couldn't
have
hit
talked about.
that.
Yeah, we
Oh my God.
cannot watch that show because
We
it's
can't.
too fucking close to like what our lives were.
Yeah, there was several times where like my wife and I watched the first episode together, and we paused it time and time again, being like, I don't know, like this is way too real. And it's like, it's a joke, it's satire, but like that's what's out there. That's what happens behind the scenes. Those are things that like as you get closer and closer to like getting into like leadership positions and roles in churches like that, you start to see behind the curtain and you're like, holy fuck, this has nothing to do with what you were told it has to do with. And it's like that's a huge reason why we left in the first place. We saw that stuff, we popped the curtain open and went, holy shit, and then closed it and ran. It's like we don't want to be a part of this, and it's been years now since that happened, but like yeah, that show, it's so funny that you bring up the righteous gemstones because aside from all like the silly plot of like murdering somebody and like that goes into this and that, like the first episode of that show is very triggering in a funny way but also in a very real way.
don't tell me you guys got baptized in a pool with waves.
Yeah.
Like,
I think we had a heated pool. it was warm. It was like a cool 85 degrees. So we were we were living, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
crazy. I just remember the beginning of that show. I'm like, that's hilarious. The part where the pool,
It's
the waves come. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's a joke, but again, it was very real, like to a bad point. So
Well, it's good that in a way you got to like put that into music, like a cathartic experience. So yeah, it's so. And you know, I don't know if anyone's ever told you this, Noah, but you look like a cooler version of Howard Wolowitz from The Big Bang Theory.
okay.
Like a
Heck yeah.
cool
I've
version.
gotten
Yeah.
I've gotten so many like random things. Somebody thought I was Benson Boone at a local bakery and they sent a picture to their friend and I got it like on a side thing. I'll take it all. I'll take it all. That's cool. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah. Well, I, I'm guessing you're taller than him, but I don't even the way like he kind of talks, but the cool version. Obviously, he that's that.
Hell yeah.
So he's not like that on real life. So so yeah, the album's being out now a few weeks. If people, do you have physical copies for people who want to get the album physically?
Yes. Declan set up or reset up our Bandcamp. If you just go on Bandcamp and look up Bicycle In, we got CDs on there for the record. We have shirts that Declan's partner Steph designed. They're awesome. We're excited to have them. So we're looking to do more physical stuff, but we wanted to do CDs this time. They're on a digipack. So they're like half of the like single fold cardboard, but they also have the jewel case piece inside. We tried the jewel cases, but every time we tried taking them somewhere, they shatter into a million pieces. If you try to ship them, they shatter. They're so bad. So we tried to go a different route and see if we could, save people the trouble this time around.
Yeah, they do break easily. So Derek, it's good that that your partner got to do the t-shirt design. You keep it all DIY, right, Derek?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she did the whole design. I mean, we've done almost every t-shirt design we've ever had in the band has either been I think only one time somebody not like in our immediate circle did a design for us, or maybe twice.
Yeah,
Yeah, we usually
yeah.
do everything ourselves. Yeah, my wife Steph did the t-shirt for us. Yeah, in like a weekend because we it was like a month and a half before the record came out. We didn't have t-shirts or a design or anything, and everything kind of came down to the wire. And I was like, Steph, can you do a design? Do like a wolf, I guess, or something. And in like a weekend, she did the whole design.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Declan is kind of the what is the oh man. You put
Logistic.
out the fires. You kind of like
Oh,
put out the fires and we have them. So we're like, all right, what do we do? It's like Declan, what's the answer? But yeah, a lot of times like for the actual like formation of the record, we take all from our circle of friends and people that we care about. They that have put a lot into us. Like we look creatively to them. I try to do a lot of stuff myself with the designs if we can't get it because it's the best way to save money is that also spend an afternoon to do things like that. But um it's like I think it also comes down to like I have Adobe Suite, so like I'm able to like to like put things together. And so like the fact that Steph made the design, I was like, hell yeah, that saves me so much time. Let me just put this together. Gil's like, I got the album cover. I was like, perfect. I'll just format it. So we have a pretty good system, which is awesome. So we're very fortunate, very blessed to be able to pull things together last minute if we need to. We try not to, but
You
you
always try
know,
not to do it last minute, and you always end up doing it last minute anyway.
right,
It
right.
was like 11:30 on the night before the record came out. I was setting
Yeah.
up camp, trying to get everything
Yep.
done. You know,
The red eye shift.
always comes down to the wire.
Yep.
but it almost makes sense to do a lot of stuff now DIY because basically you get more money for the band. It goes all to you instead of like streaming and stuff. So yeah, I think it's a in the past, I think years ago it was get to a record label. I think now it's like,
Yep.
well, do it yourself.
Yeah. I mean, we've thankfully always been able to do things ourselves, and like we've never been fully a part of a label into the thing where we sign contracts so that we make a record or things like that. But we've done distribution before, so even in those situations we've still done all the creative stuff ourselves, and then we partner with somebody to help us ship it and get it to different places. So it's cool. It's cool that like things have evolved in a different way, but it also is times change, and you're less, I think, more bands that are deserving of the credit and the notoriety of how wonderful they are get a better chance of being seen these days because it has shifted into DIY, like kind of wind, that it's no longer that you have to wait for a label to notice you, and bands are just kind of off into the ether hoping to get something. I think DIY has really brought a lot to the table.
Yeah. What's the Boston music scene like?
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly DIY, like we're talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of the venues in Boston all during COVID, we lost a lot of good venues in the Boston area that we like to play at. So now it's like
Yeah.
mostly DIY spaces. There's still a few good like venues and bars and clubs and stuff in Boston that we can play at, but yeah, most of it is DIY these days.
Yeah, because I don't know I think I don't know how many bands from Boston I know. There's one I really love, but it's more like the band like a band called Astronoid. That I think they're from Massachusetts, from Boston, Massachusetts too. And I love that band. But it's cool that there's a cool music scene, different stuff. So you today's first day. Obviously, when this come out, the show has I'll be out. But you guys are playing a show tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, we're doing a really small little like weekend tour. As you can see, hopefully from the image, Declan is wearing a sling as he just had surgery. So we're trying to keep things a little bit lighter in terms of like shows until our good buddy is fixed and healed the right and proper way. So we are doing a little weekender this weekend with our friends in Career Day. So we'll be doing a Friday, Saturday, playing in Brooklyn or the greater Brooklyn area, and then we'll be playing in Holyoke, Mass. So we're just doing a quick little thing, kind of have some fun for a weekend, and then we'll be back on Sunday.
So, so couchers, when you see this, it already happened. Too
Exactly. Too late.
late. Well, if they follow you, they'll know
Yeah, yeah.
the shows. But Declan, can you slap the bass with the sling?
No, I can't. I can play very, very, very carefully. Not nearly as aggressively as I like to, but I made it through our set list in practice today, so it can be done.
Okay. Well, that's dedication. Like, but yeah, it's only a weekend, a few shows in the weekend. So after that, I'm guessing you guys are gonna rest for the holiday. And what will the new year bring? Any plans that you got for 2026 with the band?
Yeah, we've been working really hard behind the scenes with a lot of shows that, we've reached out to people, people have reached out to us, and we're kind of like planning our stuff strategically for next year. Um, we haven't like very much discussed it, but I'd love to do a specific album release show with some friends. Just because like again the timing is what it is, and I think that's the true benefit of our band and our friendships, and that we all know that like life is life, and we got to do things that we have to do that make sense for us. And so it has never been we need to do this, we need to do anything on a rush. We don't ever have to feel like we're pressured into making something happen. It's more so, hey, we're here, we've gotten to this point, what makes sense for all of us, and we've been so fortunate to have like friends and people who continue to listen to us and will show up to shows and have a good time. So it's cool. So I think we are going to take it slow, but not nearly as slow as kind of our working on this record and making this happen. It's going to be a little bit more engaging.
Awesome. So before I let you guys go, so you guys can rest and and be prepared for the shows you have this weekend. Like, let's name to me like maybe three albums for each one of you that really made you want to get into music.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know I'm bringing the heavy questions tonight.
It
No,
is.
it's seriously.
I can think of two right off the top, but the third is gonna be hmm.
I think it's gonna go back to me being a kid and listening to those albums because like that's kind of where I was like, okay, this is I've heard these albums and now I want to go do this. All right, Declan, do you want to say your two first and
Yeah,
then
I think I've got all three of them. I just need to
okay, go for it.
record so I say it right. Uh, Modern baseball, sports, because that was a very important record for me when we were first starting the band, and then Harmlessness by The World is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die are the two I had off the top of the head. And then a third one. Oh, and then Hotelier. What's the name of the Hotelier record?
Home like no place is
Home
there.
Like No Place. Yeah, Home Like No Place by Hotelier. Those are my
They're Worcester, Mass born, so they're
yeah.
close to home for us. But I mean I would say Home Like No Place Is There is like one of the most formative records for me as an artist, but I'm gonna go even earlier than that to say that made me want to be in a band. I'd say, oh, that's tough. I'm gonna say the first record that I remember listening to and being so enamored by what a band could be would probably be uh Lost in the Sound of Separation by Under Oath. I think is like one of the most formative records for me as a kid, just listening to it being like I gotta be in a band as soon as possible. Um I think Brand New Eyes by Paramore is another one that really just pulled me in. Um, I listen to that record all the time still, and I love it. Same thing with Lost in the Sound of Separation. Um, and then the last one is tough because like I could say like literally almost the same albums that Declan said and more are like very formative, but I'm trying to think of the ones that I sat on a bus somewhere going to school being like, I need to be in a band. Um, Ooh, the last one is so hard. There's a lot of bands that are popping into my head that I want to say, but oh man, I need to physically look this up so I don't say the name wrong. But there's a band called King's X. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so I'm trying to think of specifically which album. Um, I think Dogman was the one specifically. Yeah, Dogman from '94. I just remember listening to that. My dad had that CD. I grew up on a lot of like early hard rock and some metal albums like Queensryche, Empire was a huge one that I grew up listening to.
Your
Hell
father was
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Old
I
school.
I
Okay.
attribute a lot of that to him, but growing up I listened to a lot of those bands and um yeah, I remember listening to that. One of the songs on there, "Cigarettes," was one of the first songs that I learned on guitar. And I just like I think that those were the three albums, which are all very different, but those are the ones where I listened to them as a kid and went, I need to be in a band. But definitely Home Like No Place Is There is, I think, probably I've said it already, and I'm sorry, but it was the most formative record for me, growing up in the scene and just starting as a band, especially with locals like them as well, who have done so well for themselves in the genre and been such a huge staple. American football, shout out, mention, Foxing, shout out and mention. But yeah, I think those three records. Sorry, that took so long. I'm talking so much, but those are the three records. Talk about it all
That's
day.
I made you think a lot, and it's late, and you guys get a rest for the show. So, Noah, Declan, I want to thank you for taking some time to chat with me a little bit about Bicycle In. So, Couchers, the album Long in the Tooth is out now. If you like emotive, emo, alternative rock, listen to Bicycle In. There was a band in Puerto Rico, but they were called Bicycle, but in Spanish, bicicleta.
Bicicleta.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, it's a cool album name, band name. So before I let you go, anything you like to say to the couchers before we go?
Um, just thank you. I think that for the most part, I mean, and thank you, Hector, so much for having us. It's been really fun getting to chat with you. And we and obviously Declan, you jump in whenever, but I just feel I always feel so blessed and so humbled and so um just honored for anything. If anybody listens to our stuff, goes to a show, buys merch, wants to talk to us at the merch table, or wants to talk to us online and just chat or tell us something, like I think that that is such a huge thing for us. And it's always been such a staple of why we're in this band. We're creating art and creating space for people to express themselves. And we're uh, just pleasantly surprised at how many people that we've reached or connected with through our music. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the point of making music for us is to share it with other people. And anytime you put a song out and or you put a record out or whatever, like especially nowadays, there's no guarantee that anybody will care or anybody will listen to it. And yeah, so it's always a joy when you get to actually share in the music with other people.
Yeah. And Declan, I hope that you heal soon. Uh,
Thank you. Me too. I also hope that.
yeah. So guys, again, thank you for your time uh and have a great kick-ass shows this weekend and
thank
hopefully
you.
sometime in the future. So Couchers, the band, you can stream everything now. Like I'll post the link, so and for the Bandcamp if you people want to buy it. So until next time, Couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and good night.